I realized I couldn't work for this kind of toxic person forever and continue to throw myself under the bus for him every day for no real ultimate gain. And I took a job outside of dentistry. I went and worked as an office manager in a small private equity firm, which was a huge departure for me. But I did it because I actually was so loyal to this office that I built up that I felt sick at going to work at another office. Like I just felt like I couldn't even do it. But then as I was working with this very small private equity group, I went to Chipotle for lunch with my boss at the time. I love Chipotle. I feel like only good things can happen over a Chipotle.
I love their process too. I love the way that they kind of mastered that process and made things quick.
I love everything about Chipotle. Everything they do is beautifully executed. But we were kind of talking about like what I see as the pain points, and I started telling the story of watching the doctor I'd worked for acquire this practice and all the things that I perceived as flawed about that and all the things he didn't know. And we kind of just launched the idea of a small fund where we could ease the transition process in private practice dentistry and create an affiliate group. So this was sort of early DSO days, and I didn't really want to be corporate. That was kind of yucky at the time, at least in Wisconsin.
No, that's what,
but Wisconsin was
that's what I was taught as well. I was taught, because I only worked with single practices, and every consultant, every dentist that I ever talked to said, DSOs are the devil, and that's like the worst thing in the world. And
right. Bad dentistry, only bad dentistry happens there, and only good dentistry happens. And that was the story. Right. And so we created at the time what would be an affiliate model where we had our individual locations be able to have, a majority ownership earn out in their location, but still hold this
real quick
level.
Before you dive into that. So when did that, I'm interested in when that transition happened in your brain that's not the truth, right? About DSOs. There's good DSOs and bad DSOs. There's good single practitioners. There's bad single practitioners. There's good office managers. There's bad office managers. When did that transition in your brain happen? Was it during this process?
Yeah, it really was. And probably backwards of how you might think. The more private practices for sale that I evaluated to purchase, the more of them I went through, the more I realized a private practice does not equal great dentistry. It's not a guaranteed correlation. And so, if that could be true, then it could be true the other way. And then as we started hiring in young dentists that had come from these corporate backgrounds, I realized many of them were great dentists. And so it was very firsthand that I realized that the quality of dentistry doesn't correlate to the corporate structure that you operate under. Now, there might be pros and cons of private practice versus DSOs. Obviously, that we could talk about those all day, but anytime somebody wants to kind of get uppity about corporate practice to me, I'm like, well, I've had the unique experience of seeing a lot of dentistry firsthand. And I'm not a dentist, but I can tell you based on redos and fall apart rates and, my own eyes, I was an assistant for a long time. I have learned a lot about dentistry, that there are a lot of really nice guys practicing really bad dentistry in private practice. A lot of really good guys practicing really good dentistry. There's just you can be good or bad. It doesn't really have to do with that setup.
Absolutely.